Before we dive into the 3 secrets that actually melt thigh fat, I need to show you something that's going to blow your mind. See this measuring tape? By the end of this video, you're going to understand why measuring your thighs might be the worst thing you can do for fat loss. And no, I'm not talking about some weird reverse psychology trick. There's actual science behind this, and it's probably the opposite of what every fitness influencer has told you. Stick around, because what I'm about to reveal in tip number 2 involves a piece of gym equipment that most women run away from, but it's actually your secret weapon for getting those lean-toned legs you've been dreaming of. Here's the truth bomb nobody wants to tell you. Thigh fat is particularly stubborn for women because of biology, not because you're doing something wrong. Women naturally store more fat in their thighs, hips, and pelvic area due to higher estrogen levels. This creates what scientists call subcutaneous fat storage, which is basically fat that sits right under your skin, making those areas look soft and jiggly. Meanwhile, men typically store fat around their stomachs as visceral fat. Lucky them, right? But here's where it gets interesting, and this is why that measuring tape I mentioned earlier might be sabotaging you. When women start focusing obsessively on thigh measurements and doing targeted thigh exercises, they're fighting a battle they literally cannot win. It's like trying to melt an ice cube by blowing on one corner of it. The ice cube is going to melt from all sides, not just where you're directing your breath. This brings us to secret number 1, and this is where most people get it completely wrong. You need to stop trying to lose thigh fat and start focusing on losing overall body fat. I know. This sounds like generic advice, but hear me out. Your body has a predetermined pattern for where it stores fat and where it burns fat from. For most women, the thighs are one of the first places fat gets stored and one of the last places it comes off. This means you could lose fat from your face, arms, and even your stomach before you see significant changes in your thighs. Now here's where the diet piece gets crucial, and this isn't about eating less. In fact, eating too little is probably why your previous attempts failed. When you drastically cut calories, especially if those calories are coming from processed foods high in sugar and unhealthy fats, you create something called insulin resistance. This literally blocks your body's ability to burn fat efficiently. Instead of burning that deficit you created, your metabolism just slows down to match your reduced intake. The solution? Focus on your macronutrients, not just calories. You want to eat whole, single-ingredient foods like salmon, avocados, rice, and eggs. These foods help regulate your insulin levels and keep your metabolism humming. But here's the game changer: calorie cycling. Instead of eating the same low amount every day, you alternate between lower calorie days and maintenance days. Research shows that doing 2 weeks at 30% below maintenance, followed by 2 weeks at maintenance, leads to better fat loss and prevents metabolic slowdown. During this process, keep your protein consistent at around 0.73 grams per pound of body weight. This is crucial because protein has 3 superpowers. It builds muscle, controls appetite, and boosts your metabolism. Most women severely undereat protein, which is why they struggle to see results even when they're doing everything else right. Now, let's talk about secret number 2, and this is where that piece of gym equipment I teased earlier comes in. It's weights. Yes, those scary metal things that most women avoid because they're terrified of getting bulky. But here's the hilarious truth. Weights are actually what give you that lean-toned look you're after. When you lift weights, you're not just building muscle, you're literally reshaping your body composition. Think about it this way. Imagine your thigh is like a balloon with a smaller balloon inside it. The outer balloon is fat, and the inner balloon is muscle. When you only do cardio and diet, you're deflating both balloons. You might get smaller, but you'll still look soft and undefined. When you add weight training, you keep that inner balloon firm and shapely while the outer balloon shrinks. The result? Lean, defined legs that actually have shape and curves in all the right places. Plus, muscle tissue is metabolically active, meaning it burns calories even when you're Netflixing on your couch. The more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism, which makes keeping fat off easier in the long run. Here are 3 exercises that will transform your lower body. First, deep squats. These target your glutes and hamstrings more intensively than regular squats. Set your feet wider than shoulder width, toes slightly outward, and squat down until your hips drop just below your knees. The key is maintaining that arch in your lower back and keeping your chest proud. Second, walking lunges. These are incredible for hitting those posterior muscles that create that lifted, rounded look. Take a big step forward, keeping your feet hip-width apart, not in a straight line. Lower down by bending both knees, creating more of a rectangle shape with your legs rather than a triangle. Third, step-ups. Find a platform about knee height, plant one foot completely on top, then drive through that front leg to step up. Lower with control and repeat all reps on one side before switching. Pro tip, point your back toe up to really challenge those glutes. Do 3 to 4 sets of each exercise with challenging weight. Even if you're working out at home with just body weight, adding more sets and reps will still make a significant difference in muscle tone and shape. Secret number 3 might surprise you because it's about what not to do. Don't become a cardio queen. I know cardio feels productive because you're sweating and breathing hard, but if your workout plan is all cardio and no weights, you're actually working against yourself. Excessive cardio combined with calorie restriction is a recipe for muscle loss and metabolic damage. Instead, use cardio strategically. Add it only when you hit a plateau in fat loss, and start with just 1 session per week. If that breaks your plateau, don't add more unless you plateau again. When you do add cardio, make it high-intensity interval training. Alternate between 15 to 60-second bursts of intense exercises like sprints or burpees, followed by equal recovery periods of walking or light movement. This approach burns more calories in less time and doesn't interfere with your muscle-building efforts like endless steady-state cardio does. Remember, your goal is to burn fat while preserving and building muscle, not to become a smaller, softer version of yourself. The bottom line is this: losing thigh fat isn't about targeting your thighs specifically. It's about creating the right environment in your body for overall fat loss while building the muscle underneath that fat to create the shape you want. Focus on eating whole foods in the right amounts, lift weights to build and maintain muscle, and use cardio sparingly as a tool rather than your primary strategy. Your body will lose fat in its own predetermined pattern, and for most women, the thighs will be among the last areas to lean out. But when they do, you'll have built the foundation of muscle underneath to create those strong, shapely legs you've been working toward. Trust the process, stay consistent, and remember that real transformation takes time. But it's absolutely achievable when you work with your body's natural processes rather than against them.